Hello, everyone. Sorry. Mm,
Um, can you hear me, Abisala? Can you hear me, Fatima? Sorry.
Joseph, I can hear you. Please, can you see my screen?
I can see your screen, but I can hear an echo.
How about now?
Yeah. So, okay.
Okay, I can see my screen now better, right?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome, guys. Welcome, welcome. So, our topic for today is Excel Essential. That is mastering the spreadsheet basics, by which will be taken by Joseph Fadero. So, moving on to our ground rules as usual. We have punctuality, which is like a paramount concern to us. Please always be punctual. Let's all are an open-minded to towards learning, and there should always be one class. Please let's all participate as much as we can. Whenever a question is asked, please answer either on the class or on the group. Please try as much as you can to answer and participate. Also, let's respect each other. Ask as many questions as you can. There's nothing like stupid questions or stupid anything stupid. Just ask it. If you cannot ask on the group here, just you can always come to our DMs or put it on the WhatsApp group, and we will always answer you. Also, please note that your mic will always be muted in case if you have any question that you want to ask, you can always raise your hand and I will get you unmuted. So moving up to my name is Temitope Fatima and I'm your moderator for today. I work at Nairametrics currently as a business analyst. I'm a Microsoft certified data analyst. I'm also a Microsoft certified Azure AI with over 3 years of experience as an analyst. Moving on to our speaker for today, who happens to be my mentor in person of Joseph Fadero. Joseph Fadero currently is a co-founder and lead trainer at Citizen Developer in UK. He's an analytic instructor at Data Click. He's a co-organizer analytics extra mentorship program. So professional experience for Joseph Fadero is a Microsoft certified trainer. Is a Microsoft Power Platform super user. Is also a Microsoft certified data analyst. Is a Microsoft certified analytics engineer. Is a Microsoft certified Azure data fundamental. A Microsoft certified Power Platform fundamentals. He's also a Microsoft certified Power Platform super user. This is a Microsoft ambassador himself. He's also a corporate trainer with deep understanding of various adult learning methodologies, training methodologies, and instructional design. He has trained over 1,000 participants, including senior management on data analytics, business intelligence, and artificial intelligence, Power Platform, Microsoft Fabric, SQL, Microsoft Power BI, Microsoft Office tools. That's a lot. He has built a robust analytics system solutions for clients across various industries, ranging from insurance, oil and gas, financial institutions, training, and so on. He's also a co-organizer for of analytic mentorship program. Please let's give Joseph a round of applause. Please. Please let's come in. Let's welcome Joseph, please. Go on the group chat and welcome him, please. Mr. Joseph, over to you, boss. I'll be on sharing my screen now.
Okay. Can you hear me clearly, Fatima?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So at any point in time where you cannot hear me, please let me know. And if you need me, if you can't see my screen as well, please let me know. So good day, everyone. Good day, everyone. Thanks for the warm, interesting introduction, Fatima. Thank you very much. It's nice to have us all here today. And I don't just want to have the introduction about myself alone. I want to know more about the people on this call right now. So I don't know if we have access to the chat, but how I want us to introduce ourselves is what you like to do for fun. Let's leave your certification of what you do for work separately. Let's talk about what you do for fun and something. If you were to summarize yourself for 1 millionaire in 1 minute, how would you describe yourself? So I want us to do that right now. So on the call. So quickly, me personally, I'm a chess lover. Aside from aside from data, I play a bit of chess, and I love problem solving, and that's what essentially brought me into the world of data. So I'd love to get some few introductions. Maybe I can hear from maybe one or two people, then we start. So who wants to win 1 millionaire? Well, so anybody? Okay, I have some volunteers. Okay, so Fatima, please can you unmute the mic of Mujib and Jamil and Thomas? So quickly, if you were to sell yourself for 1 millionaire today, how would you introduce yourself?
Sorry. Mujib, can you unmute your mic?
Good
Hi,
evening.
Mujib. Can you unmute your mic?
Yeah. Hi,
All
good
right, good
evening.
evening.
Yeah, good evening. My name's Mujib Olkokum. Um, I am a ardent lover of basketball, and I'm probably called MJ while on the field, aside with the
Oh,
guitar enthusiast.
uh,
So, and it's really nice being here. And if the woman is really available, I'm actually open. It will go a long way in supporting my career, both as a basketball and also as a data analyst. I guess we can inject that into sport analysis, the basket option for Nigeria. Thank you.
hmm. Okay, I've recently gotten a lot of interest into basketball lately, especially even WNBA as well. A lot is going on in basketball lately. And MG, Michael Jordan, I like that. I think I'll remember you by MG. Okay, so who is next? Jamil, please quickly.
Jamie, can you unmute your mic?
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Mr. Joseph. So can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, Jami Sani, and popularly known as TG. So I'm a fan of video games. Aside being a data analyst, I'm a fan of video games, majorly football video games. So I also watch football a lot. So that's what I do as fun. And apparently I've been playing football before now, and I was being one of my what's it called? Will I say one of my role model in football is Lionel Messi. So due to his genius when it comes to football. So that's what I am looking up to, and apparently for my um for my individual personality concerning video games, it has to do with a lot of um the love I have for games that like sports games, majorly sports games, any sports games, FIFA, PS. So that's is also tilting me towards the line of gaming analytics, video game analytics, or something like that. Thank you very much. Hello. Hello.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I don't know if anybody's hearing me.
Okay. I think I got you now at the tail bit of your introduction. Okay. But I think you said you love playing video games, if I'm not mistaken, right? So especially
Yes.
football.
Video games. Exactly. Football video games. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's nice to meet you once again. Yeah, thank you very much for that. Okay, so do we still have one more person? I think there's one more person there. We go ahead with today.
Um,
So is that Thomas?
Thomas, you can unmute your mic.
Ladies and gentlemen, being like the only Kenyan in this program makes me feel like I'm an outlier. Yeah, my name is Thomas Nyanumba. I'm a Kenyan. I have a bachelor's degree in energy and environmental, and I was actually fascinated by the trainer's CV when I saw that you have worked on some projects on oil and gas. So currently, I'm looking forward to gaining that analytic skills and later apply them. I'm not being selective, but I like to apply them in the energy industry. During my free time, I like swimming. I swim a lot. And actually, I realized that it is something that I can also earn from. So on part-time basis, I'm a swimming trainer. Yeah, thank you so much, and God bless all of you.
Okay. So thank you very much for that warm introduction. Nice to meet you, Thomas from Kenya, who loves swimming and oil and gas. So yeah, nice to meet you. So nice to meet you, everybody again. MJ, Thomas, as well. So for today's training, this is our agenda. We're going to be, I'm here to kind of, I don't know if I should say oil our mouths for the full scale training, because what I'm doing today is getting us up to speed with the basics of Excel. I know some of us, we've probably been using Excel for probably some period. And you know what? That even takes me to my next slide. How long have you been using Excel? So you can just drop it in the chat. So I know some of us on this call, we've probably been using Excel probably as far back as like 2007. Maybe some people were around during the inception of Excel, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 12 years. Okay, 20 years, 2 years. Okay, interesting. 14 years. Okay, 2 years. I'm seeing 2014. Okay, interesting. 4 years. Well, typically, the reason why I ask this question, so if you are on the newer side of things, it's not to make you feel bad, like, oh, these guys have been using Excel for 20, 13, 14, 15 years. The question which I'll now ask is, what, mention three things you use Excel for. Mention three things you use Excel for. I know a large number of people that have been using Excel for 20 years, 14 years, probably 30 years, maybe or 7 years, 6 years. But the question is, what do you use Excel for essentially? So just mention, think of three core things you use Excel for. Three core things you use Excel for. I'm also checking the chat. I can see teaching, record keeping. So record keeping, data storage, data analysis and statistical analysis. Okay, budget, project tracking and reporting, record keeping. Okay, modeling, reports and analysis. Okay. So essentially, there are key things, basic Excel operations, what people typically use Excel for. Now, you could use Excel for data entry. which a large amount of us said we probably do, record keeping in the sense of data entry. You're typing probably your typical file, how we normally fill paper, biro and paper. You're probably typing it into a spreadsheet. So there are those group of people that use Excel for data entry solely. Then you have the group that use Excel for data preparation. Now, Excel has some cleaning features and capability, especially for those that use Excel for data entry or data storage. They store their data in Excel. They also use Excel to sort of probably clean their data as well. So data entry, data preparation, those are the basic operation. You have reporting and analysis. So Excel, you also use Excel for either your creating reports, creating your dashboard, probably your weekly reports, your monthly reports, your daily reports. Probably that's what you use Excel for. And you also have an unusual case scenario, but people do this. You have Excel for app development. You have Excel for app development. Now there may be more use case now for Excel, but the typical ones you see people using are probably among these four. Like I said, there may be more, but the typical ones you see people using are among these four. Now, I know most of us we may be curious. What do we mean by app development? Do you mean I can probably develop an app in Excel? In Excel, I'm sure most of us will be asking that question. Can I actually develop an app in Excel? Now, if you believe that's not possible, do you want me to show you an application that was kind of developed in Excel? Sounds good. Okay, I can see yes, sure, yes. Okay, so something that low code, yeah. Essentially, okay, yes. Power App. Okay, maybe that is coming from a Power Platform background. Well, the truth is, Excel laid the foundation for some of those low code apps. Now, if you are coming from Power Apps Foundation, I'm sure you probably know that some of the Power FX formulas are similar with with Excel formulas. So, okay, I'm seeing sure. Okay, interesting. Okay, so dependent on your knowledge and skill level in Excel, you can end up building like an application you could probably sell to people. And there are freelance sites that you can actually sell to people. Like there's somebody I know that the person makes Excel applications and software and he sell it on that site and the person gets its money. There are freelance sites like that that people get paid for creating those type of software. So a typical example I have here is Bible on Excel. Now, can you see my screen? Can everybody see my screen? Now, I wasn't the one that developed this, by the way. So I wasn't the one that developed this, but I kind of understand the mechanics of what's going on. But somebody developed an entire Bible application in Excel. Now, the beauty of this is, apart from the fact you can navigate to the particular location of the Bible. Probably if it's Genesis per se, want to go to Genesis, it takes you there. Exodus and the rest. You can do that with this application. You also have this section called stats. Now, this stats section is the part which I personally like because you can search for a particular word and how many times it occurred in the Bible essentially. So yeah, you have like salvation 164 times. Let me check for like testimony, for example, and you have 76 occurrences, and it shows you the books where it occurs in, like the Bible, the chapters where it occurs in. There's also a version for Quran as well for Muslim folks, but this was developed essentially entirely through Excel. Through Excel, so you have number of verses, number of characters, characters per verse. All of this was built in Excel. You can go to the particular Bible location. You can read about the Bible, or if you just want to set, if you are doing Bible trivia, this can help you a lot in increasing your skill. Now, so that's to show you how powerful Excel as a tool can be. So, dependent on your knowledge and skill, you can get to the point where you are developing your own sort of application or tool or service just with Excel and going ahead to probably sell it to monetize to get money as well for yourself. Now, so that's just by the way, that's an eye opener. So, what do we think about this? What do we think about this quickly? What's your thoughts about this? Isn't this like something you see in a functional application? No, this wasn't done with VBA. None of this was done with VBA. So this is just formulas and functions. Totally formulas and functions, not even VBA. So if you want to be sure it's formulas and functions, if you see through this section where I have on my screen, you can see the ugly the ugly looking formulas. Hello, can anybody hear me? Can you hear me, Fatima? Just want to be sure.
Yes, I can hear you now, but I can't see your screen. Okay, I can see your screen now.
Yeah, so I don't this all these network providers, it's even MTN for right now. So, but okay, sorry about that. So right now I'm back. Sorry about that, everyone. So essentially, with Excel, you can go ahead to build all these type of applications and software, depending on what you know, your skill level in Excel, and how well you use Excel. Now, the reason why I asked essentially how long we've been using Excel is not just by how long we've been using Excel, it's also by how frequent we use Excel. How frequent we use Excel. So, just a moment. Okay. It's also about how frequent we use Excel. Now, I know to a large proportion of us, a large proportion of this call, we've probably used Excel before. Now, I want us to confirm what version of Excel you are using essentially. Now, if you are dependent on your version of Excel, there are limitations and capabilities you yourself wouldn't be able to do in your Excel. And how can you find out the version of your Excel? The top tabs that we have right here, the top tabs we have right here on my screen are called your ribbon, the ribbon interface in Excel. For those who may not be familiar, you have the home, the insert, the drawer, the page layout, the formulas, data as well. But for you to check the version you have on Excel, you can go to your file, go to your accounts, and you can go to this your about Excel. About Excel tells you it gives you the version number, and under the version number you have the year and the month your Excel is dated at. So the year and the month is dated at. So the moment you've seen that, mine is 2409. Mine is 2409. And that tells me about the things I will be able to do in Excel. Now, the reason why I said this is Excel and all Microsoft products update every single month. Like Microsoft, not just Excel, you have.
Joseph, I can't see your screen. Your
Okay,
screen is
let me
not
stop.
showing again.
Hold on, I'm going to share back. Yeah, you can hear me. Can you see it now? Can you see it now? Hello? I can't hear from Fatima. Fatima, can you hear me? Can anybody hear me? Okay, I'm seeing reactions. Okay, so somebody said it was actually sharing before. Okay, thank you for that. Okay, so the reason why I said your version is important is because Microsoft as a tool, Microsoft increases their capabilities every single month, like every single month. So there are things you cannot probably do on your Excel if you are using probably like a late or a very outdated version of Excel. Now, for everyone, I would probably implore you, if you can, it's best if you have a version of Excel. Microsoft 365 is typically the best version, but if you have a version of Excel above, probably above 2016 or 2019, above that point in time. Can you hear me? Hello? I can hear from Fatima, so I'm not sure
Yes,
anybody can hear.
yes, I can. The MTN network is bad from my end, so
Okay. Can you see my screen?
yes, I can.
Okay, okay, sorry about that. So so I can see a large proportion of us are using 2021, which is good. So we'll be able to practice like maybe most of the stuff that we want to talk about. Now, for those who may not be familiar with Excel, and this is probably a general question for those who are familiar with Excel. Now, what are these what are these A, B, C, D, E, F? What are they called in Excel? What are these called in Excel? Quickly drop in the chat if you know it. If you don't know what they are called in Excel, okay, okay. So what of the one, two, three in this one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10? So what are they called in Excel? Okay, rows. Okay, so who has any idea of how many rows we have in Excel and how many columns we have in Excel without using Google? If you have an Excel sheet open, can you find out that information? How many rows or columns we have in Excel without using Google? So rows and columns. So somebody said rows, 16,000. I don't agree with that. So rows, how many rows do we have? Okay, psych. Without using Google. Wow, I'm saying we have past rows. Columns is how many columns do we have? We don't have 1.4 million columns, no. Rows, okay, the rows answer is correct. Columns, oh, somebody has gotten the answer. Okay, so to make sure, and what I'm here to do largely is also to make sure everybody is on the same pace, essentially. So when we are diving deeper into other things, nobody will kind of be lost. Now, for us to know this value, there are a lot of ways to do things in Excel, in other tools and services. A typical way we can find out this information, if you press Control and your right arrow key, it will go to the last value that you have in the column wise, or Control and your down arrow key, it will go to the last value you have on your row. Now, if you press Control and your down arrow key, this is the last value you have on your row. 1,000, 1,487, 1,048,576. Now, if I come up, if I go to the last control right arrow key, it will go to the last key, and this is XFD. Now that should be 16,000 something. Now, if I don't want to do that, like I said, control right arrow key to go to the last cell, the last column that you have, and control down arrow key to go to the last row that you have. If I don't want to do that and I want to find out that information, I can just use the formula equals to columns, return the number of columns from the reference, and I can select my column control shift down arrow key to select all the columns. Okay, so it's columns. Okay, my glasses needs to work better. Okay, so it was I'm just saying now. So it's columns equals to columns, not column. So yeah, equals to columns. This tells you the number of columns you have in Excel. Now the other one I can do is equal to rows, which will give you the number of rows you have. I can just select the rows, control shift down arrow key to ensure I've selected all. Then I have the number of rows and column. So this is the number of rows you have in Excel, and this is the number of columns that you have in Excel. Right. So the formulas I use is columns, and you select the entire array. I just selected the top column, and rows, you select the entire row in your Excel spreadsheet. So this is the number of rows and columns you have in Excel. Now, what does this mean? This means that if you are using Excel for data entry, right? Are we with me? If you are using Excel for data entry, the moment you hit this point, this 1,048,576 rows of information we agreed is this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The moment we exceed that point, there's no more room in Excel storage to store that information typically. That's if you are using Excel for data entry. The same goes for columns. The same goes for columns in Excel. So that's the very first thing you need to know. What is the row? What's the column in Excel? Now, I'll go back to my PowerPoint because I'm getting to a key point where we have ways of reporting in Excel. The first way is formula and function. Now, the key question I would ask, I still have tasks for us to do, so don't worry, please stay with me. The key question I would ask us is, what's the difference between a formula and a function in Excel? What's the difference between a formula and a function in Excel? Or let's even leave it outside Excel. What do you understand by a formula and a function? Can anybody hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
A formula consists of functions. That's an interesting answer. A function is inbuilt. A formula and a function in Excel. So if you remember, the reason why we're here is we have ways of reporting in Excel, and the first one is formula, using formulas and functions. Interesting. A formula is like a normal mathematics calculation and a function is an input formula or on Excel. I totally agree with that. So I totally agree with that. Now, I just want to be sure we are all on the same page. I have Ade, I have PC, right?
Mr. Joseph, are you there?
I'm with you, I'm with you, I'm with you. I'm not saying anything, don't worry.
Or
I'm not
okay,
saying
okay.
anything. Okay. Okay, so I just have a question, right? Can we see my screen? Can we see my screen? Yeah. So I have a question, and I want us to just type in the chat based on the color you can see. Um, which one of these two is a formula? Which one is a function? So if you believe orange is a function, type orange is a function, and red is a formula, type red is a formula in the tab, in the scan. Okay, so somebody said I should increase my screen. Surely I can do that. It's better now, right? Yeah. Okay, so we all so I can see orange is a formula. Okay, don't pardon my color because the truth is a large proportion of guys are maybe colorblind. I don't know. I don't know if I'm colorblind, but I see this as orange. Maybe somebody can tell me the actual color this is, but that's by the way what this color is and the other color. Okay, I can see orange is formula, red is function. Okay, so I can see that very much has been established right now. So when you're working with Excel and you need to create report, there's a lot of situations you will need to probably use a formula and a function to do it, or you could use a formula, or you could use a function, or you have to use both a formula and a function to do it together. Now I'm going to talk about the other ways of reporting in Excel. Then we will go into some practical scenarios as well in that. Now, there are other ways of reporting in Excel. We have the using pivot table. I don't know if how many of us have used pivot tables before. Pivot tables is a way of doing reports in Excel. During the analytic mentorship program, you are going to touch into pivot tables as well, and some more advanced things you can do with pivot tables. We have using pivot tables plus power pivot plus DAX. DAX represents something called data analysis expression. So you can use pivot table, power pivot, and DAX to do reports in Excel. And these three tools, in addition to Power Query, is what Microsoft kind of packaged together to build, produce the wonderful tool a lot of us love as Power BI. So if your Excel skills is very, very strong, moving to Power BI is very, very easy. Like me, I first learned Excel, and when I learned Power BI, I was like, oh, okay, this makes sense. This makes sense very, very much. Because once you can master these tools and ways of writing formulas and functions, you will be good to go with Power BI. Now you have Q functions, and the last one is AI. So we have AI as a way of creating reports in Excel. Now today we are going to be focused on formulas and functions a bit, and I'm going to be showing us a bit of data entry work in Excel. Now to be sure, are we all with me? Are you all with me? Are you all with me? Now, so I have this Excel file which I'm going to be sharing with us at the end of the class. I wanted to share it with us. Okay,
Um,
I've not answered the question. Somebody
Hi,
just
Mr.
stated that.
Joseph.
Yes,
Can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
Please let me know when to share the quiz because it's ready.
Yes. I'll let you know. I'll let you
All
know. Don't
right.
worry. That's yeah. So the answer to the question, yes, the orange is the formula, while the red is the function. So people that said that, yes, the orange is the formula, the red is the function. So that's correct. So you can note that down. So thank you for bringing me back to that. Yes, so that's correct. Okay, so right now on my screen, this is Excel 101 essentially. Now I know we did statistics fundamentals kind of last session where we were introduced to some statistical terms and terminologies, and having understanding of those terms can make what we want to do right now very nice and easy. So like I said, I'll share this file with us after the session so we can always play around with or practice with it. Now, so in Excel, your boss needs you to generate the following reports. He wants to find out the total salary from this simple range of values that we have here. He wants to find out the average salary, the highest salary, the lowest salary, the third highest salary, the third lowest salary. Now, for the total salary, right? For the total salary, okay, someone said yes, the network is on and off. Is it my network or is it your network? Can you hear me smoothly, uh, Fatima?
I can hear you. Yes, I can.
Okay, sorry about that, Aisha. So for us to get the total salary, for us to get the total salary. Now this is using way of building out reports in Excel. I want to ask you if we are to generate the total salary, how will we go about doing that? From the knowledge of statistics that we did in the prior class, how would we get the total salary? Okay, so I'm seeing some. Now, okay. Before I even get into us doing, okay, let me even do the sum for us to be sure. Equals to sum, right? So this is the sum. And the next thing I will have to do is for Excel, using Excel, right? The first thing for you to write a formula, for those who may not be aware, like I said, I want to keep everybody up to speed. You start with your equal to sign and you start typing the quotation, the formula name, and you can press your tab. Now, if you've not used a formula before, I always advise you probably use Control A. That's the function argument box. The function argument box. This gives you further description of what the formula is, what is required by you. Anything you see in this bold color is what is required by you. Anything you see in this bold color is what is required by you. Or so when you see this, anything that is not highlighted in bold is termed as an optional argument. And for formulas and for functions in Excel to work, you need to supply it arguments. So for us to do this, we do equals to sum. I press my tab. I can highlight this salary column, Control Shift down arrow key. I can go over there again. I wouldn't drag it, Control Shift down arrow key, and that highlights it down. That highlights it down. So I want to say my screen is very small. I've zoomed in it again. Okay, let me zoom in. I think this is better, right? Is this better? I just want to be sure. Is this better? Can you see my screen, Fatima? Just want to be sure. Okay. So for us to do this, I'll do equals to sum. Now I know most of us, some of us are in the habit of dragging. Now dragging is a long, it's not an efficient process, right? For us to do this nice and easily, you can just do equals to sum. Press your press your tab key or open your bracket. Be on the first row that you want to have the formula in, and you can press Control Shift, your Shift key and your down arrow key, and that gives you the sum of the salary, the total salary that we have. Now, if I want to see the average salary, Excel is English. Excel is English. Now, somebody just highlighted you can use AutoSum. That's what the person said you should use. Now, AutoSum, the shortcut for AutoSum is even Alt equal. You can use Alt equal. That's the shortcut for AutoSum. It works as well. But before you jump to shortcuts, first we first have to get to the basics. So the section where you can see the AutoSum in your home tab, you can see the AutoSum at this top icon beside your sum button. So that's the first thing. We have the total salary. To get the average salary, we can use average and we specify the values here, right? Now the highest salary, anybody quickly, what would that be? To get the highest salary, we have the max, okay, max. So we can have the max. This gets us the highest salary. Now, for those who are asking, how do we know all of this? Now, the beauty of it is we largely attended the statistics fundamentals, and if you've not, you can watch the videos. Abafe did a good job of explaining what some average, mean, max can do. So I implore you to watch those videos as well. But if you need to understand, if you don't know how to use a formula, you can come to this formulas tab on top, click on insert function, and under this insert function, you can type a description of what you want to do. And Excel will recommend a formula for you to use. I can just type, I want to see the probably max. I can just type max and I can press go. And Excel will recommend formulas that they believe shows the maximum value. Now, this is very efficient because I don't have to start cramming 500 plus formulas in Excel. So with this, you can go to insert function. Now there's AI as well, which kind of makes things easier. But if you go to this insert function, just type a description of what you want to do, and Excel will do the rest. We recommend what you need to do. So that's the very first one. So for the next one, we have mean. So that will get us the minimum salary. The minimum salary. Now, for the third highest salary, any idea on how we will do this? Third highest salary. I can see some Excel experts in the house. Okay, that's highest salary. Okay, so equals to large for those who are large. You select your array, then you specify the number that you want to be. So the K represents the number, and that's going to be the third largest salary. So for the third lowest salary, Excel is English largely. So if large is for the highest salary, what will be the third lowest salary? Okay, so small equals to small. Okay, so I can see a lot of us are up to speed in some of this core Excel concepts, right? Small. more than I specify the third lowest one. Now, I have a question. I have a question for us. Now, I enter John Paul and I do this, right? I do this. I enter John Paul. Now, as a data analyst, you could be faced with situations where there's error in your data. There's probably an error here in your data. I want somebody to think, how can we calculate the total salary given this error in our data? This last error that I just introduced. Any idea? Any idea of what we would need to do? Somebody said use if error. Okay. Okay, so I just added an error, which is John Paul. Check John Paul, and it's possible in your data. Somebody else can just come here and probably maybe make a mistake or type an error. Now, it's sometimes it's good to see there's an error, right? Sometimes it's good to see there's an error. There was an error, but how did you calculate the sum of the values? How did you calculate the sum of the values if there is an error? And how can you calculate this remaining value if there's an error? Now, somebody said using if error. Now, if error essentially will probably work, but that is looking at conditionals. Now, I'm not taking us through conditionals today, but all this sum, mean, max, small, all these formulas we are mentioning, they are classified under a type of formula called aggregate functions. All of these functions that were mentioned, they are classified under aggregate functions. Aggregate functions. And if you use the aggregate function itself, you can, there are some interesting things you can do with the aggregate function that will allow you to probably skip errors or skip blanks in your data. Now, let me show us how to do that. So if you do equals to aggregate, aggregate is a function in Excel. The first thing aggregate asks you is, tell me the function you want to use. The function you want to use. Now, the first one we want to do is a sum. Now, you specify the number. The number is 9 in this situation. Now, can you see, after I press comma, can you see this next argument aggregate is saying? It's saying, what do you want to do? Ignore nested subtotals, ignore hidden rows, nested subtotals and aggregates. Is that what we want to do? Ignore error values, nested subtotals, and aggregate functions. Ignore hidden rows, errors, nested subtotals, and aggregate functions. So the typical thing we want to do right now is to do what? Ignore errors, right? That's what we want to do. So we could either probably use 2, or since we don't have hidden rows, we can just use 2 directly. We can use 2 or 3, or we can use 6. 6 is just ignore error values. So if I press 6, and the next thing I just need to do is select the array, Ctrl Shift down arrow key, and hit enter. So let's see this. Can you see this? Okay, there's a lot of. So people said my screen was too small now before, now it's too large. Okay. Now I'm zoomed out again. Is this perfect? Is this perfect? Now under this code, you have aggregate 9. Now the 6 here represent the option, what you want to do. Now I said all the functions we've been doing before are part of something called aggregate functions in Excel. So there's also a function called aggregate in Excel that beyond your typical sum, mean, average and all, you can use aggregate to ignore errors, ignore hidden rows. If you have hidden rows in your value and you don't want it to be calculated, you can use aggregate to help you to do that. To ignore certain subtotals and totals, you can use aggregate to help you to do this. Now, so 9 in this case, 9, the very first thing I did, 9 was to represent the sum, this total sum of numbers. The second thing it's asking for is what option do I want? There are a lot of options set. If I want to ignore subtotals, I can use either of these. If I want to ignore hidden rows, I can use 5. If I want to ignore nothing, I can use 4. That will just give me the actual value. If I want to ignore errors, because I introduced errors now, I can use 6 and I can use comma and I can select the entire array of values and I can hit enter. And that will give me the value irrespective if there's an error. Or let me even take a let me remove the error. If there's a hidden row, that will no, let me hide this. And let me come to this formula. So instead of ignore errors, let me use ignore hidden row. So did you notice the values reduced once I ignored hidden row? And how did I hide the row? I can just go over that. If you right click by your rows, you can hide or unhide the row. Now I'm going to unhide the row. You can just click on this drag button and it's unhided. It unhides that. Now that's using aggregate functions. Aggregate functions. So the aggregate functions allow you to do more than you typically do with normal function. Now before I go, this tax 2 will largely be part of our like take home to play around with, But before I go, part of the things we use Excel to do is probably data preparation and cleaning. Now, for us to generate the first name, I want us to quickly tell me what will we use to generate the first name using formulas and functions. I don't want us to use the quick method that some of us may know. Using formulas and functions, how did I generate the first name from this list? Someone said text to column. No, well, text to column can work, but I using formulas and functions. Formula splits. Equals to left equals to split. Yeah. So I can see equals to split, but I can see the formula that we want to see. So equals to text split. Okay. Yes, we will surely get the recording. It will be uploaded on Adiwani's YouTube channel. There are a lot more I wish to have covered today, but given the time constraints, I will pass it on to my next facilitator as well. So yes, I know that, but I want us to use formulas and functions. We will first we'll get to the soft line. So yeah, you can use left for those who are traditional Excel users. How we typically do this is we use left. And what left we ask you for is the text you want to extract character from. How many characters do you want to extract? Now what this means is this is Andrew Hart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I want to extract 6 characters from Andrew Hart. I can press 6. I can close my bracket and hit enter. Now, I have a question. Did this perform the operation perfectly? Did this work perfectly? Okay, so I can say no, 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 no. Okay, because the reason why this did not work is because we have Alexander Blackwell, who just isn't just 6 characters. So what we did in this essentially was we had coded the formula together. We had coded the formula together, and that's not necessarily good because this 6 wouldn't always be 6. Now, for us to do this in an efficient way, now there are newer formulas that can save us the time and headache from doing this. But there are some times that understanding the basics can allow you to apply them for different use case scenarios. For us to be able to solve this issue of hard coding the name, we need a function that will tell us where to stop at, where this extraction should stop at. What we told him before is it should stop at character 6. So we need a function that we find where this extraction will stop at. And for us to do that, we need to find out what is the separator between this first and this last character. What is the thing that is separating those 2 characters together? And that is a delimiter, which is what we call as space. So if you are using text to column, text split, you will typically use space as the separator between those 2 columns. Now in Excel, if you want to find a particular formula in a text, a particular text in another text, you can use the find function. If I do equals to find, and I look, let me look for space within this text, and it should tell me what position space is within this text. Within this text, space is between this position 7. Now, what this means is at this last section of this formula, instead of typing 6, I can include this find function into um into this formula. So what I can do is instead of typing this 6, I can just I can specify the text I'm looking for to be space within this text, right? And I can close my brackets and hit enter. Now this will give me the desired result. Now this itself is kind of like long and hard coded. If you are using modern version of Excel, you can just use equals to text split, select the text, the delimiter you want to separate, not even text split itself. For this, we can use text before. So there's a function called text before. Select the text, specify the delimiter you want to separate, which is the space. Then you close your bracket and you're done. You're done. So let me sure this thing completes. Yeah, so you're done. So you're done. So text before, you have text before, text after. These functions can allow you to do certain things like that. Now for our take home, we will do the remaining last name, email, and salary. Last name, email, and salary. But the last thing I wanted to show us is formatting in Excel. Now these numbers right here, as you can see them, they are not with this 1,000 separator. If I want to keep the 1,000 separator with them, I can just press a shortcut for that. And the shortcut I pressed was Control Shift 1. Control Shift 1 allows you to put the 1,000 separator. Or if I'm not using the shortcut, part of it, I can press Control 1 Control 1 opens the format cells option. Now under this format cells option, you can apply different types of formatting you want in your Excel number. So this is the default one, which is number. If I want to apply a currency, I can select currency. If I want to apply accounting, I can select accounting, specify the currency. If I want to keep a percentage, I can use percentage. If I want to create my own custom format, I can use custom. I can use custom to create my own custom format. So I can go over there again, control 1, custom. So under this custom, a typical formatting operation I can do is probably to shorten this number. Maybe instead of seeing 144326, I want to see 144K. I can just use comma to shorten the numbers and keep a quotation for the thousand separator for the K, and I can click on OK. Now this will shorten the format to look like something like this. And the thing we need to do, a format doesn't change what is in the cell. It only changes what we see, and what we see is not necessarily what is in the cell. So that's the key takeaway for us to note. Now, so that takes me towards the end of today's session. Yes, so people remember that quote is by world now data professional David Brown. That's his favorite quote. So format doesn't change what is in Excel, but what you see. And what you see is not what necessarily is in Excel. So that takes us to today's session. I will send us this file because there's some little tasks we can play around with ourselves. And if you get the right answer, you see the smiley face showing as well. Now, before we go, we have a quiz and we have an evaluation. Somebody asked for the freelance link. I'll be trying to get that. I had it before. I'll search for that. So there's a site where you can create your Excel templates and you can share it. You can share it and get paid for it. So it's important if you want to start a freelance career like that, you can do that as well. So I'll share that as well. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, Twitter. Um, I accept connections, and if you have questions generally, you can hit me up on that as well. So hi Fatima, please share the quiz link and the evaluation. For the evaluation. Now the key thing which I would like to emphasize is this was the getting started with Excel formulas and functions. Now the next session you're going to be diving deeper into Excel formulas and functions. To some of us, this may have been a revision class. To some of us, this may have been an eye-opener class. Probably some of us we've not used the aggregate function before. Maybe this was your first time using the aggregate function. So it's good we just bear that in mind. And there's so much you can do in Excel. I would advise us keep learning, keep upscaling, and you have projects one with this project on analytics, so and you have other projects as well. Keep your hands on projects and have a good day. So
Um,
thank you so
hi Joseph. I just dropped the quiz on the group right now. Can you all hear me? Joseph, can you hear me?
yeah.
So I've dropped the quiz on the group. Please, you guys should just go there and just a few questions and answers. Please, this is very, very important as we'll be using it to evaluate how much you are participating on the group. Um, Thank you very much, Mr. Joseph. We really, really appreciate your time. Trust me, it's really, really, really insightful and very impactful. Thank you very, very much. Please, you guys, I would like every one of us to like go appreciate our speaker for today, emojis and just on the group. And also, please, there's everything we've learned today. Please, let's go. Like, let's post it on the on LinkedIn. You can tag Joseph. His name is. I'll be dropping his LinkedIn name on the group later. You tag Adewale, you can tag me as well. So, um, thank you very much, everyone. We appreciate your time and effort towards learning too. So the class has hereby come to an end, and you all should have a good night rest. We see you all next week by God's grace.
Okay, before we go, I just want to confirm. Do anybody have any question in general? Probably you have. I can spare maybe 3 minutes to answer a question. You have general question, Excel related question, probably question on today's session, or probably Excel related. It could even be data question. Want to ask? You can just quickly ask that. So
So,
I'll try to answer.
right. All right. Thank. Please, in case you have question, just raise up your hands on the. Let me unmute you. All right, Joyce. Kindly unmute your mic.
Okay,
Joyce,
please
are
go
you
ahead.
there?
Yes, I am. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. I am here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Yes, we
can hear
can.
you.
Good evening.
Okay. My question is on Excel. How or what would you suggest for someone that is trying to implement a system like a model that has all transactions, but the person does not have access to a cloud platform? What would you suggest? How would I be able to utilize Excel a to achieve a very good result regarding that?
Okay, okay,
Hello?
okay. Yeah, can you hear me? Sorry, I didn't
Yes.
get. You said a system that has all transaction. I just want to be sure I read it correctly.
Okay, so I said okay, I'm trying to build a model that
Mm-hmm.
I will be able to get a weekly